Welcome back, guys. Today I want to absolutely change your life and the way that you market your med spa. And we are going to launch into what the scaling practices do differently and how they market versus the growing practices or the newer practices. And I want to talk about this specifically because it is so important as you develop your marketing strategy. You need to make sure that you are including this piece of psychology into all of your messaging. And it is super important. I say it's super important because I've been seeing a lot of ads, a lot of med spa ads. I've been seeing a lot of content from med spas, medical weight loss practices, practices who are doing HRT, PRP, luxury practices, right? And they're not doing this correctly. So I want to help you fix this. Whether you're a beginner med spa marketer, whether you're just launching your med spa, whether you've been in it for a long time and you're like, I can't crack the code on social media marketing. If you can do this one thing with your marketing, you will never have trouble bringing in new clients, booking in repeat clients. I'm going to tell you what it is. This is going to be a shorter video, but I'm going to give you a lot of examples so you can go back and write these things down. You can even ask your patients, your current patients, about this, because I'm telling you, this is one of the things that is so important in your marketing, okay? Now, if we don't know each other, I'm Carolyn Hefner. I've been running Facebook and Instagram ads, meta ads, for the last 12 plus years. I graduated college in 2013, got a job at a local ads agency, learned everything I possibly could at that agency, built their digital division from 3 clients to 27 clients or something like that. I don't remember at this point. Left that agency, went to a local university, did a bunch of their marketing, got pregnant with my first daughter, and that's when I took the leap into entrepreneurship, and I've been running my own business ever since May 2020. So it's been 6 years of running ads, specifically in the med spa niche, 6 years of owning my own business, and as you can see, I'm trying to grow my YouTube. So if you are here and you are new, please hit subscribe and follow and check out my other videos. I try to do really raw videos, things like TikTok. I do very little editing on these videos because I want them to come off authentic, and I want you guys to, I want you to see, the real me, right? And I always say this, and I kind of joke about this, but I have kids. I homeschool my kids. They're home, so it can be a little bit loud in the background. So just keep all those things in mind. So let's get into it. If you can do this one thing with your marketing, I promise you will never have trouble bringing in new clients, okay? So what is the one thing? If you can identify and speak to the internal fears that your patients are going through, so the things that they have maybe never said out loud, and the things that they're too afraid to say out loud, or maybe even the things that they're too afraid to even admit to themselves. These are the thoughts that are sitting in the back of their head that they're thinking about subconsciously. If you can speak to those internal fears, you will never have trouble converting patients with your ads, with your content, with any of your marketing, email marketing. You will book them every single day of the week, and you will stay booked out weeks in advance. So here's a couple examples of this. So let's say you have a new patient. She's interested. Maybe she's on the fence. Let's say she's an older patient, right? So she may be in the boomer generation. She's had nothing done to her face ever. She's a little bit nervous. She's feeling a little bit, what is the word I'm looking for? Anxious, right? About taking the leap and booking at a med spa and looking a little bit younger, looking more like herself, more refreshed. She looks in the mirror and she's not happy with what she sees every morning. And these things might be sitting in her subconscious, right? So let's go through the fears that she might be thinking. I want to look fresh. I want to look a little bit younger, but I'm terrified I'm going to look fake and plastic, right? Maybe she's thinking, I want to look 10 years younger, but I'm afraid of what everyone in my family might say or my friends might say once they see me and once I'm healed. Maybe she's thinking, I've seen some seriously botched faces before, and while I want a little bit of help, maybe some facial balancing filler or some lip filler just to plumpen things up, I'm worried I'm going to end up looking like a Bratz doll or something totally different, right? These are things she's at war with in her mind and in her heart probably, okay? So think about what it is they're going through. What do they need to hear to be reassured? What does she need to hear to be reassured that She's not going to look fake. She's going to look natural. She's going to look refreshed. She's going to look like she walked out of a day spa, right? And got a nice facial, like a lift facial, right? Because that's probably what she wants to hear. Like she's going to look like herself, just better, right? Just more refreshed. Now let's think of someone that is thinking about being on like a GLP-1. Okay. They've obviously seen the marketing for it. They probably have friends and family who have used GLPs, who are on GLPs. I think everyone at this point knows someone who is on a GLP because it is just so popular and it is so effective. So maybe she's thinking like, let's take another person. Let's say that it's someone who's a woman who's like postpartum. She's finished having kids, but she has like not really taken care of herself. She's kind of fallen off as far as like workouts. She kind of just eats the leftovers of what she makes for her kids. She's not paying attention to what she's eating, but she does want to get back to how she felt before she had her kids, right? What do you need to say to this woman to make her come in and see you, to talk to you, right? If she is nervous about starting one of these medications, what is in the back of her head? So I first identify those internal fears. So one of them might be, what if I lose the weight and I still don't love my body, right? Because it'll be like a new body. That's something that she has to talk about and talk through and face. And if you offer one-on-one coaching, accountability, nutrition guidance, mindset, that's something you can speak to. You can say, you know, we don't just send you a bag of syringes and say, good luck. We're there with you every step of the way. So then when you do lose the weight, we can help you address those fears, right? What if she's thinking, you know, why can't I just work out and eat like normal? Like, why can't I just do this the normal way, or like the usual way, the common way, right? Why isn't that working for me? So address that. Like maybe it's not working for her because maybe she's about to go through menopause and there's hormone changes. Maybe it's not working for her because she's not focused on like what she's eating. Maybe it's not working for her because she always struggled with her weight. So you need to address each of those things. And what I would do is I would create a client avatar for each of your services. Maybe not for, if you have like so many services, let's say you have like Botox filler, Morpheus, like, okay, tons of services, right? But your main, most profitable services, I would create a client avatar for each of those services and what it is that they're struggling with, what it is that they emotionally can't get past. I say this is so important because people make decisions, especially women, through emotion. If you're marketing to their emotions, it's far easier for them to take the next step, to get them to take the next step, than if you're marketing to them logically. Because if you're marketing logically, let's just take this path, right? Let's say you're marketing logically. You're going to go through your services. You're going to tell them the machines that you have. You're going to tell them your techniques. You're going to show them, you know, all the skincare regimens that you have. That's fine. And you could include that here and there and pepper that into your content or like put it in a highlight. But why does your client care about that? If they're not already your client, if they don't know you and they don't trust you, how do you make them feel seen and feel safe? You do that by addressing the fears that are in the back of their mind and the fears that are in their heart, right? So let's talk a little bit about HRT, like PRP, things like that. You know, let's say that they've just recently gone through hair loss and they're struggling with that. And that can be like a very emotional thing for both men and women. So let's say we're talking to a man, right? And he's going through hair loss and he's balding. And what are the fears that he's thinking of? Like, will my hair ever grow back? If I do this PRP, am I going to have to do this for the rest of my life? What if I start and it starts to show results and I can't afford it, right? You need to address each of those fears because those are things that he's probably not admitting to himself. And if he is admitting it to himself, he's not speaking it out loud to anyone. So you need to make sure that you address those things, okay? It is so important to take the time to market to these people in an emotional way, to your patients that don't know you in an emotional way, because that's how you're going to build authenticity, connection, authority, and trust, okay? If you can speak to the internal fears of your patients, the things that they're too afraid to say out loud, your marketing is going to convert every single day of the week. And I go back to this because it is so true, especially when you're talking to women and when you're talking to men in a vulnerable position. So again, like if men If a man is losing his hair, or if he feels like he can't work out, he's not as strong, his energy, his stamina isn't there, you're talking about something that's very vulnerable. So you have to appeal to the emotions at first, right? Those decisions are made through emotions, not logic, okay? Most med spas, they are marketing to features. They're talking about, all the machines they have. They're using medical jargon. They're saying, these are the techniques I use. Why should we care, right? The practices that are scaling, those that are doing big numbers, even those that are like solo practices that are doing big numbers, are marketing to psychology. They are using social proof every single day on their social media. They're showing you why they should trust you every single day on their social media, whether it's through ads or through their organic marketing, okay? Now, again, take some time, write down what they're struggling with, write down those internal fears, right? You don't want to sound like everyone else. You don't want to just talk about your services, talk about your machines, all of that, okay? People don't care. They don't care about machines. I mean, maybe some do if they're in the industry, but if you're talking about the run-of-the-mill, everyday patient who is struggling with something, you need to speak to the struggles, okay? I go back to this every single time. If your patient feels seen, they feel safe. And when they feel safe, that's when they're going to book. And that's why they're going to book with you over anyone else. Because if they feel safe with you through a screen, how much safer are they going to feel when they go into your office and they meet with you and they consult with you and they get a plan, like a personalized plan just for you, okay? Speak to the fears that they won't say out loud. And if you do that consistently, you're never going to struggle with bookings again. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments. If there's something you want me to cover as far as marketing, med spas, ads, anything like that, how-tos, step-by-step instructions, I will do it. Just let me know and I'll create a video on it. And if this was helpful, like I said, hit subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you guys next week.